passiert, lang genug gewartet, aber jetzt sind wir da. 40k Kings of the Hill, jetzt gibt's die Bars. Mach die Airbrush an und dann Bass die Figur. Pack die Würfel in den Sack und dann straight auf die Tour. Fahr nach Bedburg, Berlin, München oder Hamburg. Spellika, TTM, egal welcher Standort. Hauptsache zocken, je härter, desto besser. Battle Rap Tactics, jede Woche fresher. Normal, wir feuern Bolter wie ein Space Marine. Danach wechseln wir entspannen dir South of Dream. Du kannst machen, was du willst, wir killen ein Screen. Kings of the Hill, kommen nicht mit War Machine. Wir rollen smooth durch die Routen wie ein Longboard und landen auf den ersten Plätzen wie eine Concorde. Und gibt es ein Problem, nur weil ihr keinen Bock habt? Zögern wir nicht lange und wir von dies not Zogger. Okay, jetzt können wir nicht anfangen zu spielen. Ich komm mal kurz hin, ja? Ich bin relaxed und schau mir das Gelände an. Tag 1, Runde 2 und ich bin endlich dran. Lost Block ist da, Krater sind am Start. Der Gameplan steht, dem direkt das Feuer klar. Der Gegner ist mir neu, doch egal wer er ist. 40k Kings of the Hill kommen hart wie ne Fist. Marines stehen stramm, die Bolter im Anschlag. Veterans im Schock immer bereit für eine Glanztat. Magnus kommt dann, denkt er ist ganz hart. 20 von der Hammer, später ist der kleine Hansa. Morty ist mad und schreit, nun ist mein Buddy tot. Wir springen die Laterne, schicken ihn nach Mali vor. Wir scoren hart, primär oder sekundär. Preschen nach vorn wie ein Pferd oder Legionär. Bleiben stabil wie Custodes mit Speer und Schwert. Unser Profil, unser Ziel ist die 1 mehr. Die Sonne steht tief, die Schatten sind schnell. Sehen uns überall, Ausblicks zu scannen, das Feld, es hält mich nichts auf, die Mission zu erfüllen. Befehl ist Befehl und der Lohn ist Gewinn. Für den Imperator, für die Watch und für den Norden. Spring ich aus der Landungskapsel wie ein Wilder Richtung Norden. Ein Jeans-Dealer brüllt und greift mich an. Doch mein Bolter hustet kurz und er teilt sich dann. Verdammt, dieser Feind ist brutal in der Überzahl. Doch die Kehlen dieser Füchs erweitert bald mein kühler Stahl. Hinter der Ruine ragt er empor. Der Blutlord, er kreischt und zischt, packt sich nach vorn. Box meinem Squad, brauch sofort den Support. Aus dem Schatten kommen Hellfire Rounds auf mein Board. Diese Ausgeburt der Hölle ist wie nichts, das ich kenne. Ich lade den Bolter durch, klick, klick, bang. Step aus der Landungskapsel und dann anvisieren. Jeder Bolterschuss ist gut platziert. Unsere Feinde fallen und wir laden nach. Egal was jetzt kommt, die Deathwatch macht das klar. Box, Elder, Tau, Deathwatch. Inari, Drukari, Necrons, Deathwatch. 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 So the Hill, aha. Deathwatch. 40 Level tiefer, 30 Tote später finde ich ein Artefakt mit Energien aus dem Äther. Schaue auf mein Ziel und es ist zum Greifen nah. Komme immer näher und es lauert weiter die Gefahr. Komm, greif ich die Datei, brich die Decke zusammen. Ein Schatten stellt hervor und der Bolter muss ran. Meine Augen öffnen sich, jetzt rennt die Ausgeburt der Hölle auf mich zu. Und im Nu trifft mich eine Psi-Welle. Schmettert mich zu Boden und ich öffne meinen Geist. Sinus Energie, die mich innerlich zerreißt. Beschwöre den Warp an Malstrom, mal schon seine Bahnen in die Luft, doch das Monster ahnt schon. Denn die Augen des Marines verändern ihren Farbton und das Monster explodiert in 1000 Funken.
I'll be in for a minute.
Hello and welcome to another Limmstag. That's the actual name of this stream, and it's usually on German, but I invited two awesome dudes, happy to call them my friends. First of all, we've got the actual world champion of Warhammer, a title that doesn't give out that easily. It's called Manny Chima. Hello to the stream. Hi, thanks for being here.
Hey guys, hi Lim. Hello everyone, thank you very much for having us today, Lim.
And another veteran of the 40k community has been over the world with his miniatures, some more betterly painted than others. It's called Alex Harrison. Alex, thanks for joining the stream.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So we can immediately tell that you both wear an Austrian shirt with pride.
Yeah, man. Well, Team Austria has always been really nice to play at WTC. So, I mean, as you can tell, Alex has got the shirts that we swapped like 2 years ago. I've got the shirt that I swapped last year. The Team Austria is really, really pleasant, so it's really cool to swap shirts with those guys.
That's really cool. If the chat would let me know if sound is everything all right. We're streaming this over Discord, and thanks to you all for joining this stream. The topics today will be, just in general, we're going to talk about the Leoben itself, the event. We're going to talk about singles compared to teams, and what are the differences and maybe preferences as well. And then general, you can ask any questions in chat. Please be nice, as always. I don't think I need to say that as anyway. And I just want to hop in and say congratulations again for, first of all, winning the Leoben event, which was a mega success from Team England. And then also winning the Nations Cup last weekend. So going from one weekend to the next event, and having a good start in April, right?
Thank you. Yeah, we are trying to prep ourselves best for WTC.
Right.
That's the main event, right? That's the one where
the big one.
That's the big one. So how do you grade your chances of is the preparation changing from year to year? Is there something you're like, okay, this year everyone takes 8 weeks of vacation and you're going to play all the armies?
I think it's not differed too much. I mean, I've been on the team for years, perhaps a bit more so than Manny, and I've seen the team selection and the way we prepare evolve. And I don't think it's ever been this good in terms of preparation, structure, things like that. There's certainly elements to it that we want to improve as a team, and Huey as a captain, or any future captains that have input as well. There's certainly, and I think any country can say, yeah, there's a little bit of improvement in the way we prepare. But yeah, I think we've started on a high, I'd say, this year. We've been to AlpineCup over in Poland. We've won the home nations last week, was it? And then the week before we won Alpine. So as a team, I think this year, and at Pyro, I think we ended up 4th. But those events also, we were testing new players. We've had a huge community increase in the number of players that have applied. Yeah, so I think preparation-wise and all that stuff, we're super excited this year. And we're maybe planning some like practice weekends or boot camps, as some players might know it as. So yeah, we're super excited, and I think we're going to be well prepared this year.
That's really good. You also have been to the ETC, is that correct? The European Trash Cup?
No,
we didn't go to that one this year.
Wow, shame on you.
It's the same thing as something else. Yeah.
You're not putting in much effort as expected. No, just kidding, of course.
Well, it's on the calendar for next year, because we heard how good it was. I mean, that's the main thing about Alpine as well. We saw how good the AlpineCup was last year, and we thought it'd be really cool to get a team to go and get some practice in, and test out against Germany, Poland, France, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, who we played in the final. All these different countries. We saw that they were performing well at Alpine last year, so we thought, let's get a piece of the action this year. So similarly, we heard loads of good things about Eurotrash this year, and it's an 8-man teams event. That's like actual practice for the main event. So it's in the calendar for next year for sure.
That's really good. Did you actually think about sending 2 teams to Leoben? I mean, or have you already selected the 8 players, or is there more on the players list that you want to like? I think right now in Germany it's like between 10 and 15 players. They still have to decide. I think they decided on the first 4 or something. And I mean, we're in April, so a couple of months to go.
So we're hoping to have the team finalized by the end of the week. I know. Yeah, so a bit of a stressful week for our captain, because he's going to finalize the team. Because Chu wasn't, so Anthony Chu is our team captain.
Hello,
he wasn't
Anthony.
playing. Yeah, so he's going to be selecting the team. 2 players are currently already on the team. Manny Chima, who's here, I think he's to my right, or there, whichever way, and Vic VJ. So those 2 players are currently on the team 100%, and then the rest of the team is getting picked at the end of the week. And the reason for it being left a little bit late for perhaps some people, early to others, is we also had a similar situation where we had a large quantity of applicants, and a large quantity of them actually showing promise, doing well this year, doing all the commitments expecting, turning up to events, doing well at events, practicing, showing their capability as a player, but also showing that community spirit, hanging out with the old members and new members. And we wanted to see that over a number of events, you know. And Alpine, you may see that the players on our Alpine team were either current members or veteran members, simply because we were the ones that could go. We did have a few other members that sort of pulled out. So Chewy was meant to go, he couldn't make it. And who is it? There was Chris Kinnair, who's he was meant to go as well, but he couldn't make it. So we couldn't formulate 2 teams, unfortunately, but perhaps next year it's definitely one on our calendar now, because we had such a good time. It was an amazing event, and you know, we've spoken highly about it on our podcast. We've spoken highly about it amongst ourselves as well, and we'd love to take perhaps 2 teams next year.
Oh, thank you very much for the kind words. Also, ticket sales start 1st of May, just letting you know. I think we're planning to raise the level again. Obviously, there's always stuff to improve.
It can go higher.
Yeah. So first of all, we're aiming for 400 players. That's the first thing. There's plenty of room. We're going to cut down the catering area with the benches and stuff, because rarely people were sitting there anyway. We just put down some armies and have little chit chats. But we're going to build out a tent on the outside and put the benches outside, so the weather will be good anyway, even if it will rain or similar. Everything will be covered. We're going to have more toilets next year. We're going to rip down the other side of the wall, and insert a door. Yeah. We're going to have a second...
Right.
Yeah, because we want to have a second... There actually is a second door. But we didn't know that you can, like a barn door, this huge gate door, you can open up to have the wind go through the hall. And also, we are going to have an AC.
I was going to say, get some aircon.
Yeah, we're gonna get an aircon.
Get a bigger trophy, man. We got this.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
We got this little 6-foot trophy. Like,
by the way, where are your rings? Where are your rings? Come on. No. Oh my God, you're not wearing them.
Mine's not in here.
Oh my God.
Oh, mine's not in here.
Of course I was wearing it. I was just stretching.
So,
I wear this day, and I just had a shower, so I thought I'd take
right,
it off.
yeah, you should.
Oh,
That looks brilliant. The good old champion Super Bowl rings from AlpineCup. That was a brilliant idea from my mate
they were
Kevin.
great, yeah.
It's something really you could take to events. You just bling it as a gag. I mean, you don't want to show it off, but it's actually cool to show off. There's also a little bit of space where you can go to any jewelry and engrave your name. We've got our names on the rings. There's a little space on the side for your name.
If you look at the side, Alex, like just underneath like the mountain, there's like a tiny little
there's a spot for your name.
Little rectangular little spot. You just get Alex in there or something.
Yeah.
And we can
cool.
make it for you guys. No worries. So we are planning on improving, and we take criticism really, really serious. I mean, it's always nice to hear like, oh yeah, the event was really good and this and that is brilliant. Nothing bad to say, but that's actually what we need. Like we need the bad stuff to be addressed and say, hey, look, we had a hard time finding anything else to eat except for McDonald's. We tried to make it work. So we had the restaurant open in the evening as well, but you guys just effed off. And other players were sitting in the restaurant in the back of the venue, and even on the terrace outside. But I do get it. You just want to take your team, go somewhere, have some drinks and stuff like that. We're going to think about that really hardly as well. We're going to talk maybe to 1 or 2 places that they keep open, so we know like, hey, this pizza place and this Austrian really good restaurant, they're going to keep open until, like, if you come in until 10 o'clock, you can order and stuff like that. Then that's also something we are considering. And we're taking anything that you have and also from the community really, really serious and try to work on. But yeah, we're glad that you enjoyed it. And I
mean, it sounds like you're pretty aware, Liv, to be fair. Like from our team's perspective, those were pretty much the only two like small criticisms we had. Was that it was a little bit tough to get food somewhere other than the venue in the evenings, and the aircon, and that was it. The rest of the event, I think, we'll all agree, me, Alex, we thought the rest of the event was fantastic. Prizes, the level of competition, the actual venue itself, where it was located, like all of it, everything was good. It's beautiful just outside as well. Terrain was great. It was all WTC terrain. Great to see all of that. Literally everything was perfect.
Oh, thank you.
Just those two little things, and I think you already know about them, and sounds like you're already planning to address them. So no complaints from our side. We'll definitely be coming again next year.
And I think that it is, as you say, Limm, it is important to have that feedback, because I don't think anything is perfect. You only want to improve. When me and Manny were organising Glasshammer events years and years ago, we wanted that feedback because it's so easy to see from our point of view, but oh, maybe you guys want this, when actually the reality is, the foreigners, i.e. us, we wanted to go out and visit local cuisines, restaurants, because it's not every day we get to go to Austria. So I, for example, would say to the guys, why don't we go to a local place and try some food? I'm a bit of a foodie, I know, but it's just one of those extras, because it is a holiday as well as an event.
Absolutely.
So that's why we said, there was nothing at fault, but it was just something that we wanted to make you guys aware that there's going to be a lot of foreign international players that would want that.
Perfect. We're just gonna go into chat as well, and to pick up some questions, so the chat can also see. Okay, my questions are getting addressed, and so feel free to place your questions if you have any. First is coming from. Oops, no, my chat went away. So, Leopold, Manny, why did you stop on making battle reports on Glasshammer? Is it a time issue?
Yeah, it is a bit of it's I think the thing is, we first of all, of course, we are a business, and the store is doing really well, very well, and we have a new focus on running super majors. We want to introduce some competition for the UKTC scene over here. The UKTC is getting absolutely huge, and I think that's just fantastic for the UK community, and we wanted to give people an alternative. So I think people are a little bit bored of just every event in the UK being UKTC. So we thought, put something else in. We're using WTC scoring, we're using WTC FAQ, Glasshammer terrain. So it's going to be a very different event to the UKTC ones. But the level of planning that needs to go into that and to get those off the ground is very high. And the battle reports, they ultimately pay a lot less than running tournaments and running the store. So that's why we've gone slightly away from that side, a bit more to this side. And once they're off the ground and running again, we would very much like to be doing live streamed games again at some point. So they'll be coming back, but we just don't know roughly when. Hopefully when we get more staff and we can have a dedicated content team again.
Well, at the latest, whenever Sisters will drop, because they're one of the next books, right? So if you don't produce Sisters videos for me, you're going to be really, really mad, because that's one of the channels I started looking up. My when I went into the competitive scene was also Glasshammer Gaming, and even though your battle reports were laid back, I would say they were always high skilled. Like, you were super friendly, and it's like, yeah, sure, make that tape back, blah, 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 blah. But the skill was still really high. So if you see through all the theatre and camera show going on, you can actually see, oh my god, that was a high skilled play. He did that because of this. So I enjoyed that as well. So I do get why people are missing them, definitely. Please, chat, do me a favour.
Oh, yes.
Please do me a favor and click the thumbs up button so more people can actually see this video in the future if they couldn't tune in live. But go on.
Yes, right. We had basically two distinct audience types that have been talking to us about the fact that they missed the content, and one half of it was because they missed the competitive element of it, because there's not that many battle report channels out there that put out competitive games, and the other half of it was people that like to see me, Dan, and David just taking the piss out of each other. So I think our battle reports were, when you say laid back, they were very much us and who we are, and we were just taking the mick out of each other for making wrong decisions, and when we'd roll crap and all sorts. But yeah, I think that's what people enjoyed about it. That we, at the end of the day, we were playing to that high skill level, but we were just mates playing some 40k.
Perfect. Okay, now let's dive into, and if, by the way, if you're hearing some kind of snoring, that's actually just my dog sniffing around. She's just like a little pig. Let's dive into the topic that I wanted to talk about with the community, especially, and to veterans like you. It's called team events. Why is it so much different than singles, and what do you prefer, and what are the key points you take on? Oh, nice, there's a team event, I'm going there because of. Maybe start with Alex on that one.
Sure. So for me, team events, especially now, more so than years past, is probably the pinnacle of 40k. I'd say it's the most competitive. I'd say it's the most enjoyable. You get to play with not just your team but your friends as well, whether it's country or club, rather than against one another. It becomes a bit strange. For example, me and Manny will play together and we'll work out lists together, and then it feels a bit strange then going back to the whole, well, now we're going to play against each other. We need to know about the meta. What's Alex going to play? What's Manny going to play? What's Vic going to play? Like, it becomes a bit, I don't know. It's very, different. And I think the enjoyment comes from working together. Also,
It's a little bit divisive, isn't it? Like singles is a bit divisive because you kind of want to help each other, but you kind of want to surprise each other and all these kind of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Because you're especially the top level, we know each other, and it becomes a case of, well, you know what I'm going to use, I know what you're going to use. Now we need to back off a bit and
Put some sauce in there,
because ultimately, if one of the factors of single play is that surprise factor of, oh, I have this new fancy list that you didn't know about, and you don't know how it's going to work. That. Whereas in teams you have that, but you kind of work together against the other teams, other countries, things like that. And I prefer that. And I think the prestige of those team events is way higher than, in my opinion, than winning a singles event. Singles event, in my opinion, even one of the biggest London GT, for example, where there's 500 players, I'm not even bothered about winning that because I know that there's a huge element of luck.
Yes.
When there's that many players, you can effectively snake your way through and dodge quite a lot of players who've knocked each other out, and you've got to the top and then either win it or lose it. Whereas team events, the way at least the Alpine was, for example, was Swiss. You're constantly playing the top players, you're constantly playing the top teams, and you've got to have your A game in every game because each of those teams will have their either best players in that country, best players in that club, whatever it is, and every game is like a finals or a compared to a singles event, right? So I enjoy that. I enjoy those close games, those competitive games where I met some great players at Alpine that I'd never played before. Fantastic players, made friendships from it, and gained some new experience. The way they played their army is different to how our players. So it was a great experience, and I would recommend it to anyone who has thought about teams, just to try it, and you'll get addicted very quickly.
Is that the same for you, Manny?
Yeah, I think everything Alex has said there, but also I think two main reasons. So, in my opinion, I prefer teams to singles. I think teams is the way to play 40k, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there's two main reasons. The first one is, relationships and stuff, like Alex said, the camaraderie. I think it's great to, you go singles, you win on your own, you lose, you also lose on your own. There's nothing really on stake. You don't feel anything, but in teams, you win as a team, but you also lose as a team. And I think a lot of, building the unit comes from taking a loss and then fighting back, for just to see it through to completion. And I think that whole, team spirit is the way. I mean, a very similar thing happened to us at 8 Nations this year. We lost to Belgium in the last stage of the pod round, so we went into the finals day kind of in second to Belgium, and Belgium and Ireland, we were below them, and it was between who was what was going to happen there. But then we beat Ireland, so we were on level pegging with them, and Ireland beat Belgium while we beat Northern Ireland, so we actually finished on top. because of points. But it's that whole, coming together as a team, and just sometimes in singles you'll lose a game and you'll go, it's okay, I'm not that bothered, and then you'll just play your normal games. But in this, it's like, we picked each other up and we're like, come on, let's go, man, we can still do this, everything's to play for. So I love the team spirit. That's the first one. But the second one, I think this one's really important, because I think a lot of people get into the competitive scene, they see the meta, and they go, there's these two armies at the top. I can't really play against these two armies, so what's the point? I just don't want to play anymore. And stuff like that, people get very defeated by it. But in teams, you got to remember there's going to be 8, either 5 or 8 armies there. And no team can duplicate an army. There's not going to be 3 Necron players on each team. There'll be 1 Necron player, and there'll be 1, for example, what were the top 2 just now? It's like Space Marines and
what?
Necrons, right?
What
That's the 2 that everyone was like, well, like going into Alpine. Those are the ones that everyone was scared of.
It was all skill.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
let
many
me pick
tanks
my
can I
board.
get
I
into
just
my
wanna
list?
pick my board.
And
I just
another
wanna pick my
impulsor.
board and shoot people. That sound familiar?
And then the yellow. That's why I put on my yellow jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
Everyone-
seriously.
Yeah, that's what it is. Everyone looks at those.
When are you trying to go for painting schools?
Oh God.
Oh,
What do you mean, when? We already tried.
No,
We tried.
but it's interesting because there are literally some teams that take care of composition about who can pilot a army the best, or who has a certain playing skill and then put an army with that skill to that kind of player.
That's the main thing.
What is your personal preference on? Would you like to play your favorite army more, or is it more like I'm gonna fill in my role? So if my role is attacker or defender, as some teams might do it, some teams have a blocker, so you just picks up any enemy and goes, yep, I'm playing a 10-10 on that one, I don't care. That was like Death Guard in 2023 or 2022. They just sit there and tank everything away.
I think most people that know us, both me and Harrison, they know that we fulfill a certain role within our team, and we're basically always on this role. But me and Harrison fulfill totally different roles usually. Harrison loves to be a put forward. Oh my God, he loves to be a put forward, frustrate people.
So that means
steal these points off you. He loves doing that.
That means for the newer people here, he's the one who will always be like first attacker. Okay.
He'll have like grindy games, and he really enjoys that play style. Tell us a bit more, Alex.
Yeah, so maybe to elaborate, the way a team works is you'll have players that are capable of being a put forward or an attacker. They'll go down early and have the pressure on them to get as many points or as little points as they can by preventing one of the opponent's defenders that are put against you for the team. So ultimately, an attacking player might not score big, but they're reducing the impact of the opposing team's effect on trying to get as many points.
He needs a defending player. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Attack defender.
A defender. Then they attack you, you joke. Oh my! He still doesn't even know, guys. Why is he on this team?
Well, the way he explained it, he was like, "I'm an attacker." So I was like,
"You're right. You're right. You of course you're defending your team. That's also an expression. Some, but every team does it differently. I realized when I was captain in 2022 that the way we described some army positions was blocker. And I didn't know any other team that used the term blocker. So a blocker just basically means, okay, I'm just blocking the ability of that army to score as much points as they usually do. I'm not interacting with them. I'm denying. Maybe
we call them blunts. We have a similar thing. We'd say those are blunt players. Blunting list.
Yeah. That's so.
P.
Diddy calls that something else, but all right.
So we call it like a put forward and a defender. So I'll explain it the way we do. So I would be put forward early, and that means the opposing team has a lot larger choice to put against me. And what that means is I'm happy to play most armies, if not all, but not every situation calls that. There might be one army where I'm like, I will get smashed by that army. Like I cannot physically outplay that. However, as long as I can play at least, let's say, 6 out of the 7 or 7 out of the 8, if I'm first or second put forward, then I'm happy. And even if it is a bad game, I will just do my best to try and get as many points as I can in the game without getting absolutely smashed. And I think I've done that pretty much my entire WTC or previous ETC career, where I know how even if the game's going badly, what I do is I'll take a step back and go, right, how can I get out of this bad situation? And I think that requires a lot of mental more than just player skill, to be able to tell yourself, yes, this might be a losing game, but I know that other games are going well for us. How can I alleviate that pressure on our other players where I can get as many points as I can in this game? And that's my job, effectively, and keeping my teammates aware on how my game is going, because sometimes my game could be not necessarily the most crucial, but I could have taken one of the big armies that our opposing team has utilized because they think, I can smash that army. And I'm also happy to play anyone. You know, I'm not phased by whether I'm playing Liam VSL, who's a fantastic player. I mean, I've never played him, but I will have no issues playing him. John Lennon, who's another fantastic player. Matthias, I've heard he's a fantastic German player. You know, I'm not phased by the name. I'm not phased by how good they are as a player. I would just focus on the game itself. And I think that's another aspect of the put forward player, is having that mentality of going, I don't care who's in front of me. I'm going to play my best game.
Mm-hmm. So would you say, Manny, that for teams that you also have a new kind of skill set that you have to bring also? Just for reference, that if we're talking about if you want to compete at the highest level, obviously anyone can just take their 4 friends or 7 friends, depending on what event they're going, and just have a blast with 5 different favorite armies. But if you want to compete at the highest level, that you say, well, in order to play teams, you do not only have to be good at your armies, like Alex just said. You have to have like a different skill set, like mentality to face anyone, or can't be scared of losing. Because, as we all know, we all know that one player who just hates losing, and he will drag himself down. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I could imagine Nassim is that kind of guy, because he's quite young also in the scene. That as soon as the games don't go the way they should, that I experienced in WCW, by the way, he did really, really great. But there was a moment where he said he's not doing that great, and he drags himself down, and that's a skill set you have to learn. Would you agree with that one?
Of course, yeah. I think that does come with experience. I think Nassim is a very new player. He's very hungry for it. I think Nassim likes to put a lot of expectations on himself. So if he slightly underperforms in one game, he does kind of feel that just within himself. And I think he's getting better with that, and he's delivering most of the time as well. But even if he misses delivering once, he feels it. And I think, but that's also a part of it. He takes that on board, and he's getting better with it, and it drives him to improve more as well, which I think is fantastic. And yeah, I think you do have to have a different mindset. I mean, like Alex just spoke there. So Alex is, like you said, he's a put forward. He's a defender. The other team has so many armies that they can use to attack him with, and he can pick one, but he has one aid, one support, which, for anyone listening might think, it's really hard to put this army forward and take on everyone and choose which one you want and stuff. But his main support is terrain. So what happens if you're the first defender is there are 8 boards. And what will happen is they'll attack Alex with something, and Alex can then go, right, I'm going to take this thing because it looks quite bad for the rest of the team, and I know I'm going to lose this game. But see, in singles, you would never think that way.
Yes.
You'd go, I need to win this game no matter what. So I'm going to make some crazy plays if you're in a losing situation. But Alex will go, right, I should lose this game. But this guy should be bringing 15 plus back for his team. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him out. I'm going to pick the board which is the best for me, the hardest for him to get big points against me, and I'm going to steal 8 points off him. I'm going to make sure he only beats me 12-8. And I think that's a very, very good and important skill to have. It's certainly something that I'm not good at. I'm not very good at being a put forward. I hate doing that. I hate going, how can I lose small? I hate doing that. And but Alex just switches it on like that. Like he'll go to a singles event and go, right, I need to win big. And then he'll go to a teams event and he'll go, cool, I'm in the losing side. I'm the put forward player. I'm going to eke out my points. I'm going to make sure you don't get a big win, because a lot of the time a win is something very different in teams.
Yeah.
For example, they put their Eldar player forward, you know, let's say from last WTC.
Mhm.
Eldar's job is to go get 15 plus. That's how that counts as our win for them in that pairing. Alex's job, don't let that guy get 15. If that guy beats Alex 12-8, that's a win for us. Sorry, if that guy beats Alex 12-8, that's a win for us.
Yeah.
Because Alex didn't give away more than 15 odd points. He only gave away 12. And that's actually a win for us. If our Eldar player goes and gets 20, and their Eldar player only gets 12 from us, we're at a win from that little pairing there.
Yeah.
And that's where your attackers come in. And most of the time, that's the role I play for the team. That's the one I feel the most comfortable in. So I would be, for example, like that Eldar player who's attacking Alex, and I'll be, right, my job is to go and get 15 plus. And then see the little ways in the game how I can, you know, optimize a push. How am I going to make the differential between our scores bigger? Sometimes it's not always about just scoring your own points, but it's about denying your opponent. And it's which combination of getting your own points and denying your opponent's points is the best way to push a bigger differential. So I think it's two very different skills. And yeah, we both prefer different ones. And, you know, we're a prime example of it. Alex is a defender and I'm an attacker. And that's just the way we like to play.
Did you? I mean, you two combined have got like more than 20 events of WTC and ETC combined. Have you? First of all, did you ever attend the War Masters and singles as well, like repeatedly, or is it because you weren't in singles in Leoben?
I did it once.
I've done it. I've did it twice in the last 10 years.
Is it because it just strains your power and
It's too
I
much.
mean,
I think
it's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a singles event, especially of that caliber, there's a lot of players. You know, you still want to win, or do well. It's too much, 40K in a week. You know, I think for us as a team, as much as we want to win the WTC, pretty much every year we go. You know, I think we always have a good chance, but whether we win or not is down to us. We still enjoy having a laugh out there. We like the social element. So, you know, for example, if we go this year, we want to go a day or two early to have a few drinks with all our friends in different countries that we only get to see once or twice a year. So, you know, for us, it's a social event as well. And if I'm playing singles, I can't socialize as much because the actual WTC event itself is a long slog. And we don't tend to get much time to socialize in the evenings because we're preparing for the next day. You know, you have your map up, you're working out, right, we're now playing this country in this mission. Does this change our matrix? We'll have a matrix for each country, which is effectively our pairings and how we want to play each army. And that's important to do because with that prep work allows you to go above and beyond and potentially win the event. And that is certainly a massive part of that. So the two singles events I went to was literally just actually practicing the army because I didn't have enough practice with that army. So I was like, right, I'll use the singles as practice. 1 year was when I was in the Merc team, and another year was years ago. I can't even remember when it was, like 8-9 years ago. I just wanted to do both, just to get more.
Reason why I was asking is, as a judge perspective, I can literally see a difference between single judging and team judging. Is that? Did you ever discover that players behave differently also? They don't play differently, they behave differently in teams versus singles. Is that something you experienced, that when you drive through the various UKTC events and then you go to a team event, that obviously when you play at that high level, you kind of know also the other top players, like the Polish guys and the US guys and the German guys. But is it that you experienced a player is behaving differently?
No, yeah, I think so. Yes, that is a thing. I think all of us do it to a small extent. I mean, for myself, I do feel it a little bit in myself that I feel a little bit more pressure when I'm playing for a team than if I'm playing singles, because if I lose a singles game, it only affects me. But if I don't perform my role correctly in a team event, I kind of feel like I've let a team down. So there is a little bit more, drive to be better, I think, as well in teams. And I mean, myself, definitely, I feel like I perform better in a team's environment than I do in a singles environment, because I just want to play better for the team than I do when I'm away. Like sometimes I'm playing like for myself, and I'm quite loose with like my play. Sometimes I'm just like, this will go over there, this will go over there. Oh, okay, I didn't screen that properly, made a mistake there. I'll learn from it. But sometimes you do have that when you come to like the end of a singles event as well, and you've played like 5 or 6 games, you're a little bit tired, you're like, but like in WTC, I always make sure, even if I'm in that last game, I'm like, do I have enough water? Coaches coming around and they ask, do you want water? I'm always like, yes, please. Important to stay hydrated, because I'm like, I want to perform to the best of my ability right to the very end of the event. So I think it brings out the best in players. I think it makes them want to, drive further and be more committed and play better when they're playing for a team.
Was that also the same as you discovered, Alex?
Yeah, I think with singles, with one objective in mind is win the event, at least the top players. And when you get to sort of round 4, round 5, at our major events, because all our events in the UK, there'll be a number of top quality players. We know each other, and I think at that stage we're pretty chill. We've either got a good matchup or we've got a bad matchup. There's nothing we can do about it in singles, right? You could be playing Eldar, smashing everyone, and then go, I'm playing guard, I've gone second. Well, that's game over, isn't it? And you realise that quite quickly.
What a shitty game.
Yeah. I mean, one prime example was me at London GT. I made it all the way to the finals, played Malik. He went first, and I called it after turn 1 because I'm not playing for anything. You either win or you don't by a point. At that point, I knew, well, you've killed half my army. I'm not going to get anything out of this, so we'll just call it there. I'm pretty tired. I want to go home. Whereas teams, you don't do that. I was on stream at Alpine. I had a very similar situation where I lost half my army, if not more than half my army in one turn.
Yeah.
But I still had to play the game because I knew I couldn't just step back and go, well, that's 20-0. That's going to affect everyone else. So your mentality is very different compared to singles. And that's what I like about it. Everything is to play for. And I think that's where your skill comes into it. You actually have to think about everything intricately. Right, I need to think 2 turns ahead. Can I get myself out of this sticky situation? How can I get these points? How can I deny my opponent points? Whether you are an attacker or a defender, at that point when you've got a bad game or something's gone badly, that's when you need to switch on and go, right, okay, I went second in this game. It would have been a bit different going first, or whatever situation it comes. And that's what I love about teams, is you're playing not just for yourself, but you're playing for the 4 or 7 other players out there, and you want to do well, but you want to do it for them as well, not just for yourself. And that's where pride comes in. It's like, well, I don't want them to think that I've let them down, and I don't want to let them down. So you kind of end up focusing more on some of the tightest, best games of 40K I've had is in the team events.
Yeah, for everyone not knowing how the scoring in teams actually works compared to singles, and singles is pretty straightforward. Either you win the match or you lose it. But in teams, you count every game of the teams. Like in Leoben, we had a 5-on-5. In WTC in Belgium, it's an 8-on-8. So you combine all the points, and you have to exceed a certain amount of score to actually win the overall. So you can actually, if every game goes 11-9, I think you still have a draw. So you need one match to go 12-8, and all the 4 others can go 11-9, and then your team basically won. So even if you're in the situations Alex described, going only for I lost half my army, I'm getting 0-20'd, your mentality switches in that regard to say, okay, wait, if it's a 1-19, I maybe bring that 1 point we actually need. And if all 5 players do that, that's a 5-point difference, which literally boosts you out of the draw range immediately, or brings you into a draw range, because sometimes a draw is enough. Like Germany needed a draw only to be 3rd place in WTC 2022. They still gambled for the win, because who wants to play for a draw? But basically, that's how you you prepare for your matches, and you stay focused throughout the game. And as a judge,
that is the most important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if you do take Leoben, you need, if you get 55 out of 100, that's a draw, because you haven't beaten your opponent by more than 10 points. You need more than 10 more than your opponents. There's a bracket in the middle, 45 to 55 points, which is a draw, and you need 56 to win.
Yeah.
If you break 56 down, right? If you say you get 2 players that have got 20-0 wins on your team, that's 40 points. So the other 3 games, you only need 16. So you can actually, and this is the kind of weird level it can go to. You can have 3 losses and only 2 wins in a round, and you can win the round.
Mm-hmm.
Because your losses could be 14-6, 14-6, 14-6, and you could have 2 big wins, 20-0, 20-0, and you're on 58 points there. That's a win. You've won the round, because your opponents that were on the losing side of games didn't give up, and they were like, right, I'm going to keep this tight. My opponent's not going to beat me by more than 25 points. And you have 3 players that have kept in the game like that to the very end. And even if you smash 2 games really big, and you can lose 3 small, and those players that are fighting for every point, those are the guys that have won you the round. You know, they've gone, you've got 58 and you've won the round.
Yeah, it's like that never give up mentality just kicks in, right? As we have seen on stream, losing half of the car park of Alex Harris's Space Marines.
Noob.
And by the way, Magnus did nothing wrong. We've all been there. We've all been there, beginning with 40k competitive, or driving to your first tournament, or even thinking about visiting Leoben maybe next year, or one of their team events, wherever they are from in the world. How would you, if you go back in time and you weren't the people that you are right now, without that all that knowledge, how would you start? How would you say, okay, team event is the following, we're going to go there, get hammered, and try to have a couple of games? How would you just, like, what's the mentality behind it, and how's the right approach, or what would you have done differently, maybe also, Alex?
That's a really tough question.
It is, isn't it? I mean, we can switch to Manny because he's grinning already.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's,
All right, go on.
everyone has a different way into the game, right? Like,
Yeah.
so because you have these players that come over from other competitive games, and they come straight in, hit the ground running, and they're competing straight away. You know, they're competitive, so they want to be good at the game. I just came to my first ever tournament because a bunch of the guys that I played paintballing with played 40k.
Sure.
And I was the guy at the start. I was like, what, you guys go and play with these little Barbie dolls that you paint up and stuff? Like that was me. And then I went along to one event. I got destroyed. I think I won 1 game, lost all the other 4. And I just had a really great time socializing with people, drinking, stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I want to go back for more. I'll come back with you guys next month when you're going to the next one. And but then I'm quite a competitive player. Quite a competitive person, you know, by nature. So I was like, well, you know, if I'm going to go to more of these events with my friends, I actually want to do well. So then, you know, I changed to, you know what, let me actually see how good I can be at the game. And yeah, that's where my journey began. I just came because my paintballing mates wanted me to come and just have a great weekend drinking away. And yeah, that's where I got in the game.
I did not know that paintball story.
yeah. That's how I started. I was like, what, you guys play with these little Barbie dolls that you paint? And they were like,
so
no, don't knock it till you try it. And then I tried it, and now I've got loads of Barbie dolls. Look.
Yeah. So what would you give newcomers to team events on their way to, like, that's a message for them? How would you give advice to someone who wants to
start
really
by going
go?
with your friends.
Huh?
I would say start by going with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really, really cool thing, you know, because I think everyone goes to like a local gaming club and stuff like that. I would, you know, see if there's like a local team event and just ask your friends that you play with at your local club if they want to go. And because I think you develop different skills, like we said, playing in team events to singles events. So I think, you know, but also it's about the camaraderie, like we were saying, you know, building proper relationship between you and your team. So I think just ask your local gaming group if there's people interested in going to like the next team's event, and just get yourself down there and give it a go. I think that's the best advice I could give, because I think the best way to do it is just go, because people are friendly. I think people have this perception of tournament players, oh no, it's going to be so scary, they're not going to be very nice people. But actually, like, the teams that you play on the top tables are usually the nicest, players that you play in the game.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really cool. So my best advice would be, give it a go. Just get a team together and actually go to one and experience it yourself.
Yep. And you can call out and team and play them around one as well if you want to play your favorite stars.
Yeah, don't make friends like Alex. And, take him on your team, because you'll never get rid of him.
No.
I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping in my room at these team events. Yeah, at some point I just wake up and Alex is just in my room, like just working by the window or something crazy.
So for me, just to elaborate from what Manny said, I think the best thing for a newcomer or someone that's entered the scene or wants to enter the scene is to find a big event or fairly big event and just go and take an army that you're comfortable with, that you think you'll do well. Try and do a bit of research into the meta, look at all these amazing websites. You've got things like StatCheck, you've got Art of War, you've got Glasshammer, you've got, depending on where you are, your local YouTube channels like this one, like to do a bit of research, just as you would do in anything you do in life. If you want to be successful at something, you do need to do your research. I'm only talking my own experience. I used to read blogs back in the day when I was 18, 19. There wasn't any of these YouTube channels. There was a couple of battle reports now and again, but competitive wise, it was like blogs. It was like seeing what army listed well at events and go, right, okay, there's nothing wrong with meta chasing, as it's called, where you copy someone else's idea and use that as the start. Go to these events, and you know what, compete with the best players there. Even if you're matched against them, or if you can challenge them, or even talk to them. I've met some amazing people and friends throughout my career, or whatever you want to call it, in 40k, where players have just come up to me and gone, I like the way you play Tau, or I like how I see you've done really well with that army. Can you tell me more about
your
it?
yellow paint scheme? Can you take me more?
Yeah,
about it? Yeah.
everyone always asks me how I get that yellow spot on. And I'm just like,
yeah. People have been asking about Nassim's Lord Solar lately. I told him just put them out on Trafalgar Square and let the pigeon shit on it for a week, and then you're good to go.
That wasn't a pigeon, that was Manny.
Yeah, but basically you're right. Don't be afraid. And also, what I've discovered so when I started my first couple of tournaments, I went to like the RTTs one day, and like 20 to 30 to maybe even 40 people, and it was local, and it was so established local traditions, and like the locals behaved in a certain way, and something was accepted, something was not accepted. I do feel the bigger the event, the more fun you can actually have, because everything gets more loose and you have a chance to meet way more interesting people. Not that I'm saying RTTs or locals are boring. No. I'm just saying, don't be afraid to maybe, just get yourself a hotel room if it's in your budget, and go into just one of these big events to try and smash that one as well. And don't be afraid is basically what I can say. And I was asked to the WTC team in 2022, and I was really scared. I was super scared to do anything wrong. What I can say is, if the team's right, and the team should have that mentality, there is no you in team or I in team, as we all know that. If someone makes a mistake, the team made a mistake, and no one is to blame. When I was captain, I was always make sure that you cannot blame a single person. If our Tau player went, I'm gonna smash that guy 20-0, and he got 0-20'd, It's not like that Tau player's bad. It's like the team fucked up there somewhere. Something went wrong, and we're going to discover it with the team and go forward to that. So don't be afraid to go to the big events, as the guys just said. And you can go to basically anyone at the events. You can go to Manny and Alex and ask them how they play Tau, or what are their thoughts on this and that. And I'm sure they're happy to chat if they have the moment for it. No one bites at these big events. My first experience with Manny was, I was scared as fuck approaching him at WTC 2022. I've got this little present I wanted to give him because he played Sisters.
That was very cool, by the way. I loved it. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to give this to him, and going to ask for a selfie. And that is disgusting selfie with my weird facial hair going on. But that was a super happy moment, and I was like,
Should we show everyone Limm's Limm's weird beard? Yeah.
the weird beard of whatever that was, that phase. And after that, I was like, oh my god, that dude is actually really nice in person too. It's like talking to, I don't want to exaggerate, but talking to a film star or someone you know from the internet, or someone who...
It's nice. It is.
Oh my god.
What is that? What is that?
I don't know. I tried. But so someone said just wait for the holes to fill up, but they never filled up. So I was like, fuck it. I got rid of it. I tried long enough to get a beard. It's only the top part that works.
Yeah, but no, that just goes to show. Like, see, like Limm came up, we had a chat, we took a picture. I've still got that picture, like on my phone, I think. And me and Limm are good friends now. And this is the thing, you build friendships and relationships that last for years. Yeah, that was in 2022.
Yeah,
man, that was 2 years ago now, but it doesn't feel that way.
No, it doesn't.
I think that's a great thing.
I had the same. Sorry to interrupt. I had the same with Kev, Plan B God, who gave me this shirt, and I gave him one of my shirts. And no offense, Kev, at the time I didn't really know you that well, and I was a bit like taken back by this guy just running up to me, and not necessarily as a fan, but he respected me, the lists I was using in the UKTC system, and we had a good chat, and now Kev's doing fantastic. He was telling me that he was wearing that shirt the year after, and he basically won every event he went to. And I was
disgusting. It's disgusting with Kev. Yeah, he just wins everything. Last event, so I've
got a problem with Kev. If he's watching this, Limm, or you make sure he watches this.
He's in chat.
Kev's in the chat. Kev, where's my chocolates?
Oh.
Every event since the very first time I met Kev, every event that Kev is at that he knows I'm coming to, he brings me Austrian chocolate. Every single event, and this time we were in Austria, and I didn't get any chocolate. What the hell, Kev?
I got chocolate at the last event he was at, and
what's going on?
Oh, that's
great.
That's not
every
fun.
event you give me chocolate, you just broke that, bro. You just broke it.
We're gonna have a board meeting about that at Alpine.
I want double chocolates at WTC. I want double chocolates at WTC, or else, Kev, or else.
Or else you end up looking at like Naz's Leoben.
Oh my god! Someone give this man a voucher for some painting lessons, or just commission painting at all. No, I'm just kidding. Are there any armies you really like and really dislike, and from an or play perspective? From an perspective, I don't know what that means. But so, Manny, what's your favorite army at the moment, and what's your most disliked?
Orcs. There's no like at the moment. Orcs is the biggest and the best.
Well, only because it's the book or all time over.
Favorite now, or favorite before, or favorite whatever. Orcs is the best. That's it. Like, they are my favorite army. Absolute favorite.
Oh, okay. What's the most hated one?
I think it's got.
Say Knights.
To be fair,
say Knights.
I've got them now because
God.
David painted them and they look incredible. You saw my Wraith Knights at WTC.
Oh God.
Eldar. It's got to be Eldar. And you know what? There's no reason. I think I hate them.
He just played them. He literally played them in Alpine.
And you know what? I love the playstyle. I love the way they play. I just think I hate Eldar because it's Dan's favorite army. If he likes them, I'm gonna hate them. That's it. That's the friendship.
But couldn't he have painted your freaking Forged Fiends as well? Like, it was that close that you didn't get back ready points at WCW in Atlanta.
What?
It's
Well,
like,
David is really busy. David is really busy, so
Right.
he'll do some for me, and then he'll be backlogged with loads of people doing commission painting. So then some things I will have to, let's say, paint. Some things I will have to paint myself. I mean,
yeah,
I wouldn't really call it painting what I do, you know, but
Right.
when David's not available, you know, whatever goes, goes.
You gotta
I'll
do-
show you the difference. I'll actually show you the difference. Here's something that I've done.
oh,
Just spray black. I
Yeah.
put a little bit of purple on the staff and gave him blue robes. But all the skin is still just completely black. No like washing, no shading.
Yeah.
Bare minimum table standard.
I hope you
And
didn't.
then-
You didn't get that one to Leoben.
No, and then you see these things that David paints,
Oh,
and you know, like
yeah.
I could never do anything like that. But
Well, you
That's
could, but you just
bad.
don't have the time, right?
you could. What?
Yeah, you could. Of
I could
course you
sit there for
could.
like a year, and I wouldn't get like one leg done like to this level.
No, it's so painting is an investment of a huge amount of time, and some people just have the natural skill already. But everyone can adapt to it. But as we know, you're a busy person. But still, your armies that you paint look like shit. So no, there's nothing to lie about.
That's putting it nicely.
That's putting it nicely. Yeah, but I mean, Alex, what's your super? Yeah, why are you chugging some new? gonna extend my question so you've got enough time to chew and stuff like that. And I'm just making up some words while we're going. But what is your most favorite army that you just love? Maybe lore-wise, or just what is it that you just love?
Space Wolves.
Disgusting. Good.
What is disgusting?
I don't know.
Space Wolves are the best chapter. They have the coolest lore. They've got the best story. They were my first army.
Yeah.
Space Wolves is
It's because-
my favorite army.
It's probably because Space Marines normally don't have sex, and they can't have children, right? But Lucas the Trickster, oh my god, he's got children on every planet. He
my
does,
boy.
yeah. Because some of the Space Marines were like, "Oh, it smells like Lucas here," but then just people are walking by and it's like, "How the fuck is that Lucas?" And then Lucas passes them and says, "Don't answer questions you don't want to have the answer to."
Exactly. Like, what's not to love about the Space Wolves? They're always getting.
Yeah, cool.
They are
they're
really
just
cool.
You know, they're
I don't really
on the
like Space
ball.
Marines that much, but the Space
Yeah.
Wolves are my favorite chapter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that's
cool.
true.
For sure.
Good
For
bunch.
sure.
So what's the
Favorite
most
Legion is Emperor's
hatred?
Children.
Do you hate Thousand Sons then the most, according to lore?
Naturally.
Okay, yeah, naturally.
Thousand Sons. I hate Thousand Sons. Do you know what? It's not just the lore. But even to this day, whenever I play a Thousand Sons player, I'm like, you can be making up half these rules and I won't know what you're doing. You know, it doesn't matter how many times I play Thousand Sons. I'm like, oh, you can triple move, you can quadruple do this, you can
Yeah.
backflip. You know, oh, cool, you've got all these bullshit abilities, and
And
oh,
you just
cool,
you just gonna make sure that he does turn the dice of Cabal points. Just he lowers that number. You don't care, but he just lowers
I've only
it.
got 2 points left, but I can triple Doombolt you, and I'll be like, okay.
Yeah. Because you probably got this thing, you know. Yeah. The staff of Triple
I've got this
Doom.
enhancement. This character could do this. This one. Oh, like, okay, what's the difference between them three? Well, this one's got a little red dot here, just so you know. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah.
For
Every
sure.
time I play Thousand Suns, it's just a headache.
Yeah.
Not just this edition, even past. It's just.
But people will address the weapons of all of your tanks. That's a big difference there. That's not a melter. That is
It's
not
so
a
easy.
this. And it is. Yeah.
I've got 3 styles of tanks. One with guns, one with more guns, and then a transfer with guns. That's it.
So the gladiator executioner, the repulsor, he's shooting now. He's got this. He's got this. He's got this. He's got this. Oh, I forgot about this weapon.
Million guns, yeah.
There is a story about the rules writers and the design team about the repulsor. Do you know that one?
About what? Sorry, repulsion.
Yeah, the repulsor executioner.
Repulsor.
Yeah,
Okay,
the repulsor.
no.
So, the rules team get like some kind of information to write a rule for a model they haven't seen yet, like for Silent King, yeah, it's a dude on a big stone. He has 2 stony friends, and that's it. That's the Silent King. Okay, good. So the Repulsor, so he's got this weapon and this weapon and this weapon and this weapon. And the rule student's like, okay, cool. Can we combine these 3 weapons together? No. We've got the IP on all of them. We're going to give them all names. The product came out, and the rule student looked at it and it was like, oh, what is that? Yeah, that's a rocket. The rules say you don't have a rocket. Oh, you're just going to make up a stratagem then. That's why you had a stratagem to pop a rocket off the repulsor. So it's, every time someone shoots one of these big ass... Yeah, it's too much. It's just too much. I cannot follow that. But Thousand Suns is your most hated army for sure, yeah. So for me...
I'm not taking it back.
No? Okay. So for me, it's pretty easy. So Sisters all along, and then a long list of nothing coming. Sisters is just the army that has it's a hard entry and a super high floor. Like a low, no, what's it called? High floor and super high ceiling. So it's hard to enter the army, cost-wise, rules-wise, play-wise. It's really fragile, actually. If you just stay in the open, you just get mowed down. And... The combinations of tricks feels indefinitely. There's like so much you can do, so much you can change and lists and that, and it's really good. It's painting time wise, as Melly's just writing. Yep, that's also true. You can paint them forever. But the most hated army, or armies, I have to say, because one is the same worse as the other, is knights. Because knights for me do not belong in 40k. I just hate them on the board. I do understand that, like an AdMeg army with a lot of foot folks and a couple of tanks, and they have like 1 big knight. Okay, I get it. Or maybe 2 armigers saving them from whatever attacks and be like a patrol. But a whole knight army, like 2 big ones, 3 small ones, or whatever the combination nowadays is, it causes so much problems. So many problems on the table. It's like, first of all, you have to design maps for them as well. It's like they are like this is a bad joke actually, but they're the wheelchairs of map designing. You got to build in the ramps everywhere for them, and then also they play the game differently. What all they do is just put their big ass base on the objective, stand there, hope not to die, and shoot back. Sometimes they go close up and try to smash you in the face, and there's no trickery. There's no now the newest trick of the Chaos Knight is like, I can walk through walls. Wow. Okay, so we just take the design element of terrain away from their army, so they're more playable. That's why I just hate them flat out. They can play against each other all day long. Design them a game. I think there is even a game just for knights, but way scaled down. Forgot the name of that one. Titanicus, yeah, they can shoot off the left arm and the right arm, the damage chart and whatnot. Have fun in that game, but no knights on the table. That's for me, definitely.
That's fair.
That's fair. I like the fact that the terrain is considering for knights, because they're the same sort of size as my tanks, so I can fit through all these gaps nicely.
Yeah, I wanted to implement a rule, especially for teams and map designing. It comes up more often than not. So maybe you noticed on the Alpine maps that I designed with Isik together.
A little symbol. That
yeah,
says
we got a
knights
little.
Can go through, or knights can't go through this gap. I think that's very helpful.
Yeah, and also you can hold this objective from the inside, or no, you cannot hold. So no discussion.
It's very useful.
Yeah, because it just always gets called for that. Is it meant to be inside? No, yeah. Just set it up and measure it for yourself. Fuck off.
There's a lot of things, because actually it causes disagreements between players.
Yes.
And that causes a lot less disagreements between players. And it's not like, a lot of the time, it's not some player trying to gain an edge or, doing something dodgy. It's just when you've set the map up, some of the objectives look like they're inside ruins when they shouldn't be and stuff like that. So it's, by doing it by eye and sometimes off the maps is not very accurate. So it's really useful to have something like that says, this objective is supposed to be just on the outside and you're not supposed to hold it. Or this one is supposed to be just inside and you can hold it a little bit. I think having something like that on the map pack is very useful. Well, we found Alpine was very useful.
Yeah. So we're gonna improve on that one definitely, because there's so many error margins. Like the measure tapes can be different. I've seen measure tapes being different from original. Well, I wouldn't say original Games Workshop measure tapes, but who knows if they're right. But sometimes it's just half an inch over the course of 20 inches off, and then your map is 60 inches long, but sometimes it's 59. Happens. That's more often than you would say, because most of the players just measure 30 to the middle, and if they do it from both sides, they have 2 different middle points. That's funny. We discovered that on many tournaments. So there's an error margin. Then you put down the terrain, then you're not that accurate, and then they do tend up to be inside or outside of the terrain. So that's definitely something we will improve again. And also, if you design the maps on your PC, I do turn around to my gaming table and set them up. I've got everything here to do that, and then look at that from different perspectives. I don't do it on TTS because no one, literally, that's why we said please don't stand on the tables and chairs. But in game 1, there was one dude in singles who stood on the chair for the complete game, or half the game, until we told him please get down off the chair. Because he was looking at it from a TTS perspective. He was looking top-down camera. He was looking on the table. In his head, he was probably doing the lines, and
That high up.
Yeah. I mean, Liam VSL is literally playing TTS all day long because of his height.
He has TTS vision. He has TTS.
Yeah, he has TTS vision. He's like, what, 7 foot?
Liam VSL. His name should be Liam TTS.
He's Liam TTS in the future, definitely. Yeah. So, I wanted actually to implement a rule, and I can get your thoughts on that one as well. There are different categories of, well, not categories, but sometimes you've got Land Raider. All right, a Land Raider is that long and that wide. Then it has sponsons, and then they end up like 5.7, some 5.9. Then you have a knight with a tail, and all of that shenanigan. What do you think about if you move, and it's only for moving purposes? You ignore the sponsons going through walls, and also the tail. That we go back to so it's way easier to make it with models with bases.
I think that's okay, Lim, as long as you as long as you were to show a picture or an example of each model.
Yes.
Because I think it's very important, if you were going to do something like that, it would have to be for the people that are not trying to take the piss with it. So, for example, a Land Raider with its sponsons, you got to show a picture and say, like, right, if your Land Raider with its sponsons is directly forward, sponsons are directly forward. Imagine I am a Land Raider.
Yeah.
These are my sponsons. But if they're pointed directly forward, then you can implement something like that. But you would have to put a picture showing if your sponsor modeled like this, because there will be some people, if you say that your sponsors don't count, that will model the sponsors out like this to get the maximum range they can, and then they'll go, well, my sponsor doesn't count, it can just walk through a wall.
But it's only for moving. So if they do it like that, they would be easier seen, because you still see the sponsor.
Yes, but then they get a better line of sight.
They gain better.
Wall, and now instead of
and they're getting extra range.
Yeah, they'll get extra range. So I think you would have to. I think it's totally fine. It's a cool idea.
I
were to show,
I'm actually going to I'm going to go on the opposite side. I think it's a bad idea because it's one of the weaknesses of such models, and things like my predecessors.
Then do the same criticism for knights. Let's go on to the knight side, and then you have a whole army that is the thing you have to deal with, because I don't think Games Workshop is thinking about that.
They've not thought it through, but as soon as you open this can of worms, then you could start looking at, well, what about this model? Like the Dreadnought's arm is sticking out that way, like a Hellbrute, its arm goes sideways, or the Screamer Killer with its arms wide, Can I draw line of sight from these arms? It might not be a vehicle. It can open up a lot of different variables for line of sight, for range, things like that. I know it's more specific to vehicles.
But those models have bases, right? I think Limm was talking about models that don't.
No, I know. But the same principle. I mean, a model like So let's say, for example,
Yeah, I
screen
suppose I know what you
there's a
mean. The
stream
ones on
scan.
the bases will then have the ones on the
Well, you
bases will
need to-
then have a penalty, but the ones that are off bases won't have the same penalty.
Yeah.
So they'll get an advantage. Yeah, that is true.
That's
that
what I
is
mean.
true.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
you've got to. Unfortunately, I think that's just a flaw in the game design and terrain, and you're not going to be able to keep everyone happy. Don't get me wrong. I would love my predators to be able to move through walls and stuff a lot easier and things like that. And I'm sure our Grey Knight list would have loved that as well. But I think that's something that we factor as players when designing a list. We look at the terrain pack and we know what to prepare for. We'll measure it all and go, right, can I fit through here? You know, Manning took the triple raider list to a UKTC event. He knew that he couldn't deploy on every deployment. He checked it.
There were only certain parts of the board where I could deploy.
Yeah, and
there were
it's
only
just
like 2 paths that I
if
could
you
actually move around on the board.
if you get rid of that element, you're gaining quite a big advantage because you can go, oh cool, I can get cover because the part of the sponsor is behind the wall. I'm getting a cover save, but I can just move straight through.
Right.
So where do you draw the line of that?
Yeah, could also make the same example with a Norn emissary, like the tip of the tail's just hiding behind that one edge of the container, and then he just freely moves
I think
forward.
cover is fundamentally
Cover
really
is-
hard to balance with monsters.
Oh
and
yeah.
vehicles.
I mean,
Just
I
is.
don't understand why monsters don't have the same rules as vehicles. Like, why can Magnus? He could be this fucking big, and his wings is on the terrain, and he's like not.
so
being
funny enough, rules as written, he is within the terrain. Yes.
Well, I think not because he has a base.
No, the
I think
base
the rules
has
say
nothing
all
to do
models
with
have
it. That's
bases,
so
everything's
funny.
measured from base, right?
Yeah, but the measuring and being within are still 2 parts in the game. That's really, really funny. So like imagine the deployment, everything has to be wholly within your deployment zone, even the spears and like Magnus's wing have to be in the deployment zone according to WGC as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So we are saying the wing is within the deployment zone. So the wing is also within a terrain feature. If it hovers over, it's the same principle. And therefore, he has a base, doesn't matter. But the no one plays it like that.
But it's not played that way.
No,
Yeah.
no. If people would play it like that, that will literally make 90% of all terrain just useless. All models, depending on the
course.
view.
Yeah. That's why you don't play that
But
way.
do you all remember the big leak in 9th edition, close to the 10th? There was a big document. It was well written, like a conversation between 2 people. And there were so many weird rule leaks or stuff in there. And one of them was, 10th edition going to have destroyable terrain and the collapsing terrain and all of that jazz.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was super weird. Imagine, like, okay, well, that building's gone. Just pick it up, throw it away.
I love that. I just blow everything out of the way.
You see that building in your deployment zone that your whole army's hiding
Grenades!
behind?
Just got to
Oh,
barrage
let
everything.
me just get rid of that first with my Lancer. Everything else can shoot.
All
I love the
right.
game.
Love it.
My tower would come out.
Right. Thank you for being on the show anyway. It has been a blast. A lot of information about teams, about singles, about how you personally enjoy the game, a little bit about the past. Also, I just wanted to say Manny is from Glasshammer Gaming. If you don't know Glasshammer Gaming, please check out the link in the descriptions at the very top. You can book coaching. You can buy your products. You can attend their tournaments. What else can you do at Glasshammer Gaming? Go in and have a drink.
You could join our Discord. You could join in our Discord server. There's competitive players on there all the time, bouncing ideas off each other, different lists and all that kind of stuff. And if you're local, if you're in England and you're listening to this, we have a store where you can go and game with people. Like
where is it?
It's in Telford. It's in Telford in the West Midlands, and just come in for a beer. We're a fully licensed bar as well.
Alex is
Have a beer,
laughing.
play
It's
some
like,
games,
tell it
get
to
know
people. Take a bigger city for people, not from the UK. Like, even for me, it's like.
Not the nice part of England. But...
Hey, it's one of the cheapest parts. Okay.
Oh.
I can tell with that beard.
So, Alex,
Yeah,
if people want to
yeah.
get in touch with you, how would they do
You
that?
don't want to do that.
Nah,
Leave it.
Can't
Don't
do
do
that.
it.
Don't want to do that.
Don't
I got
wanna
in
do
touch with
that.
this guy like 12 years ago, and look at me now. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, if anyone wants to contact me, I'm on the Try Hard Discord TTS server. You can contact me on there. I'm on the Team England Discord server as well. I'm quite usually on all the pretty much the TTS servers. I'm on the AlpineCup Discord. You can find me on there. I think you just type Alex or Jibs or something like that. If you ever want, I've had a few people from Alpine message me. I've had people message me on Facebook, after events, asking me about lists and stuff. I'm more than happy to reply and help them with any ideas they have. But the best people to speak to is definitely Glasshammer if you want feedback on list design or tactics, things like that. But if you just want to chat or something, well,
Look who just joined the chat, and he's asking the question, why is Harrison worse than Naz? If that even would be the case, it's probably because Harrison has a nicer shave.
Is it Naz himself?
Yes.
I knew it. Oh god.
If Naz doesn't stop right now, I'm gonna show some pictures from the
Yeah, show some
celebration.
pictures of his army.
No,
Show some pictures
yeah,
of his army.
that also, but also of the shave that happened after the win.
oh
Much
god.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Also,
do you want to see the
You can also show how he did at the World Championships as well.
Shots fired.
Oh. So, is there anything else you want to give out to the community? You want to last shout out? You want to thanks to anyone? I personally want to thank Team England, obviously. Yep. But Manny, who do you want to give a shout out for?
I think I want to give a massive shout out to the Werfel Commandos who played us round one. I thought they were fantastic guys.
Nice.
This is our first event that we ever played in Austria. And to just have a local team go, hey, look, these guys are coming over. We really want to play them round one. And they were fantastic to play. They were absolute gents, all of them. And we had a great, fun, introduction to the Austrian scene. I thought that was amazing. So, Werfel Commandos, thanks to the games. And also, of course, the people running the event,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Without them, we couldn't have been there. So, thanks to Limm, Jay for being the head judge, Kev and Isik for running it all. Thank you very much, everyone. And thanks for our very small 6-foot trophy.
Tiny. Pocket size.
Yeah, Isik is no. Someone of us will bring it to Belgium, and then you're coming by car. So you're taking it home, Manny. Yep. We're gonna disassemble it just a little bit so it fits into your GT. Yeah, easy. Are you bringing the GT over? Or?
No way.
No.
To make it worthwhile, you've got to get at least 4 in a car. Harrison carrying his lap or something is fine.
Right, Alex, you want to give a shout out to anyone?
Yeah, just for me, thanks Limm for having us on, and thanks to the organisers for Alpine. Fantastic event. I'm looking forward to the new circuit, all their events that they're going to be running in Europe. It's really good to see the European scene growing. The UK scene's been growing over the last few years, so happy to see the Europeans growing as well. Because I think it's quite important. In years past, it was all the American big events, but now it's all here. So that's really good to see. And a special shout out to all my opponents at that event. Fantastic time. And a special shout out to Zugzwang, quality team. I know they're one of the German TTS overlords, as you said.
They're monsters right now.
We had a really good time against them, and I had a great game myself. So I know there was lessons learned from my opponent, and he said, he had a great game and a lot of knowledge taken in, and that's sort of going back to what I was saying earlier, where if you are playing a tough game or a tough round, take something from it. And he certainly, took a lot from it, and I went through the game with him after and what he could improve on and what to watch out for, and I believe he went on to play Ironstorm after and beat them quite convincingly. So
yes.
He took that feedback on and smashed it. So yeah, big shout out to those boys. They did really well. And yeah, thanks for having us on.
He just
Yeah,
won
totally.
an event this weekend. He was first. Your opponent, your Thousand Suns opponent, he won the Münsterland GT in Germany. Second came our Matthias, the Magnus Carlsen of 40k. If you haven't listened to that podcast, it's from Art of War. Make sure to tune in there. It's really, really good. Thank you again for being on the show. I hope you have a good week and smash the next tournaments. Also, good luck on the team's draft. Obviously, I'm not really too worried. And yeah,
Alex will be when he finds out he's the coach this year.
Oh, what a boy! What a boy!
Oh boy!
Manny, you need some water. Yeah, Alex, go.
I'm like, Alex, push my trolley. Push my trolley. The trolley is coming back for WTC. The trolley will be there. But like, go on, Alex, push the trolley along.
All right. Cheers, guys. I'm just gonna leave the Discord call. So, no offense.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
So, hier ist keine Kamera. Ich gehe nochmal hier rein. Jetzt kann ich wieder auf Deutsch reden. Ich hoffe, das hat euch gefallen einigermaßen. Das erste, was ich brauche, ist Musik, sonst höre ich meine Stimme zu sehr selbst. Wie ging das eigentlich nochmal? Ich habe jetzt schon 3 Wochen nicht mehr gestreamt. Eine Woche in Österreich gewesen. Das war mega cool in Leoben. Team-Event. Riesen Ding. 360 Spieler. 72 Teams. Das war eine echt krasse Herausforderung. Auch zum Organisieren. Und mit Kevin und meinem Partner Kevin und Isik. Wir 3 organisieren das ja zusammen. Und auf der Seite des TOs mal zu stehen, ist schon eine krasse Sache, sag ich mal. So, hier haben wir ein bisschen Musik gefunden. Irgendwas zum Relaxen. Das ist vielleicht ein bisschen zu sehr. Bisschen Gitarre. Mais oui. So. So, das kann mal hier rüber gehen. Mensch, das war schön, meine Muttersprache wieder zu hören. Ich gucke kaum englischen Content, weil Frau. Das wusste ich gar nicht. Cool. Ich hatte ja ein bisschen Sorgen, dass da zu viel jetzt dem Deutschen vorweggenommen wird. Und wir hauptsächlich auch deutschen Content produzieren wollen. Aber ich mir nicht die Chance entgehen lassen wollte, Manny und Alex einfach mal auf dem Stream zu haben. Und mit denen ein bisschen zu quatschen. Weil, wie sie auch beide gesagt haben, wir sind jetzt echt mittlerweile recht lange befreundet. Schreiben auch sehr viel. Und geht auch über das Hobby hinaus. Was halt echt cool ist. So, ich habe so eine Painting Cam. Boop. Ziehen wir mal hier runter und noch weiter. Zack. Ist die Musik zu laut oder zu leise oder zu whatever? Wie geht's euch da draußen? Ich hoffe, es geht allen gut. So, das war schon richtig witzig. In welchem Zeitraum kommt denn der Sisters Codex? Der ist relativ bald dran. Also ich sag mal so 1,5 Monate noch. Dann sind wir da auf der sicheren Seite. Das wird geil. Und das wird auch direkt ein Battle Report von mir. Da werde ich einen drehen, komme was wolle. Ich werde einen Deep Dive, also bin schon dabei, einen Deep Dive vorzubereiten. Ja, das wird geil. Ich muss meine ganze Armee irgendwie nochmal anpacken, farbtechnisch, weil die ist ja jetzt auch schon ein bisschen in die Jahre gekommen und meine Malskills haben sich ja schon verändert, dass ich jetzt sage, die kann ich jetzt nicht wirklich in die Kamera noch halten. Wann kommen Emperor's Children? Naja, wenn man aufgepasst hat, heute im Community oder Warcom-Artikel haben wir ja schon rausgehört, okay, sie kriegen einen eigenen Kodex, was anderes wäre ja Quatsch. Ja? Wann sie einen kriegen, keine Ahnung. Da habe ich keinerlei Ahnung von. Hast du unsere Schlüsselanhänger-Geschenk nicht... Hast du unser Schlüsselanhänger-Geschenk nicht verloren? Nicht verloren oder verloren? Stehe auf der Leitung. Wahrscheinlich noch ein Giveaway, was noch aussteht. Und dazu komme ich auf jeden Fall diese Woche noch. Da habe ich ein bisschen geslackt, aber Leoben hat mir ziemlich viel Kraft geraubt. Da musste ich auch mich erstmal ein bisschen akklimatisieren wieder und dann einiges aufzuholen. Brauch mal dein Lieblingsmodell, Käthe. Ja, Käthe ist auf jeden Fall mein Lieblingsmodell. Die wird Richtung ziemlich cool. Richtung Emperor's Children, was das nur Index von Anfang an der Plan oder mussten sie von ihrer eigentlichen Idee Abstand nehmen? Nee, das war schon der eigentliche Plan, klar. Ich habe dir einen Schlüsselanhänger... Ach so, sorry! Nein, den habe ich nicht verloren. Den Schlüsselanhänger habe ich, der liegt im Wohnzimmer. Auf dem kleinen Tisch. Meine Tochter fand den so cool, die spielt damit momentan rum. Und ich habe mich für den gelben und braunen Würfel entschieden an dem Schlüsselband. Das war ziemlich cool. So, I'm a Scottish Dude. Ach du meine Güte, da müssen wir direkt Feinde werden. Ich bin ja ein UK-Dude, also ein British Dude. Nee, Spaß. Rumkugal, hallo. Und natürlich begrüße ich alle, die den Stream eingeschaltet haben. Und letzte Woche und vorletzte Woche gab es keinen Stream. Vorletzte Woche war ich ja in Österreich und letzte Woche bin ich aus Österreich am Dienstag wiedergekommen und ich war komplett fick und fertig, sagt man. Und habe seitdem unglaublich viel gemalt. Also richtig viel. Ich habe 3 Vanguard-Armeen, ich sag mal, zu 90% fertig bekommen. Hier habe ich einmal, weiß gar nicht, wo ich gerade bin, hier diese Bogentraller, die Lumineth, genau, die Lumineth habe ich hier. Ziemlich cool gebased mit diesem Basic-Material von Krautcover Scenics. Ja. Die waren so frei und haben mir mal was zugeschickt und da habe ich mal ein bisschen rumexperimentiert mit. Das war cool. Da habe ich die ganzen Lumineth hier gemacht, also diese Vanguard-Box, weil viele, die das vielleicht auch verfolgt haben, ich bemale ja jede einzelne Vanguard-Box für AOS 4 fertig, um auch AOS 4 Content zu produzieren. Hast eigentlich noch die Würfel, die ich den Leoben geschenkt habe? Wahrscheinlich ja. Planst du Map Pack für Salzburg Cup zu aktualisieren? Ja. Ich werde auch das Salzburg Cup Map Pack mit aktualisieren. Das sind so 2, 3 Sachen, die ich mitgenommen habe von Salzburg, die ich auf jeden Fall anpacken werde. Wer es noch nicht getan hat, Salzburg, wunderschöne Stadt. Kann man auch super hinfliegen von Deutschland aus. Für wirklich einen Apfel und ein Ei. Und würden uns mega freuen, wenn ihr Ende Juni, 29. und 30. ist es, glaube ich, uns besuchen werdet. Denn bei dem Salzburg GT vom AlpineCup ist gleichzeitig eine Convention. Und zwar die Level Up Games Convention. Ihr zahlt quasi 65 € für das Turnier und habt gleichzeitig Access für die komplette Convention. Der Steffen Hotzenplotz, der ist auch mega Fan von. Die Level Up ist ziemlich cool. Da gibt es von Trading Card Shows bis Anime, Maler, Booths und E-Sports und die hatten so eine Drone-Fluganlage, da sind die abgeflogen. Und es ist nicht nur, es ist auf dem Messegelände und es ist nicht nur 40k, sondern wir machen auch The Old World und wir machen auch AOS und 40k. Für 65 €, das ist ziemlich cool. Und kann man natürlich sich einfach mal im Ende Juni einen kleinen Sommerurlaub machen. Salzburg, wie gesagt, schöne Stadt. Ich glaube, was? 300.000 Einwohner? Salzburg Einwohner? Könnte auch komplett falsch sein. Die Hälfte, 150.000. Also, ziemlich cool. Werden wir mal rüber auf die Couch und Champions League schauen. Ich wünsche dir noch einen schönen Abend, Synthas. Komm gut zum Liegen. So, was habe ich noch? Vielen Dank, Wusa. Ja, mir geht es gut. Tatsächlich. Ich bin immer noch irgendwie so ein bisschen müde. Und wer macht WTC Map Pack dieses Jahr? Keine Ahnung. Ich habe das Map Pack letztes Jahr mitgemacht. Habe aber die WTC-Organisation ja verlassen. Und von da, ich weiß nicht mal, ob sie etwas aktualisieren. I don't know. Und natürlich haben wir im September den Kassel Cup. Das wird ein ziemlich geiles Event, weil da eben 2 Tage Singles und 2 Tage Team-Event ist und wir das Team-Event auf das Wochenende gelegt haben, um eben ein bisschen mehr Team-Event nach Deutschland zu bringen. Diese 5-Mann-Team-Events, die sind wirklich mega cool, wenn man einfach mit 4 Freunden zusammen das erleben darf. Es macht unglaublich viel Spaß. Ich hoffe, die Message von den beiden Gästen, die ich jetzt eben hatte, ist auch rübergekommen, dass man eben nicht nur für sich alleine kämpft und man auch durchaus mal ein Matchup verlieren darf. Das finde ich ziemlich cool. Also deswegen finde ich Team-Events auch besser. Singles ist dann jeder einfach für sich und klar, eine Mittagspause und so weiter, da unterhält man sich dann mit seinen Kollegas, aber im Team-Event ist man quasi immer permanent am Team, man baut sich zusammen auf, man ja, ist einfach, also probiert es aus, wenn ihr es noch nie gemacht habt, meldet euch an für Kassel. Cup ist es limitiert auf 32 Teams nur, sobald die Anmeldungen eben losgehen, wird das relativ fix ausverkauft sein. Ich weiß gerade selber gar nicht, wo ich schauen kann. Es ist im September und das erste September-Wochenende. Es ist Samstag, Kassel Cup Teams. Schauen wir mal rein. Wir haben jetzt noch keinen, glaube ich, auf T3 eingetragen. Wir haben auf jeden Fall schon 6 Teams drinne. Auf T3, aber wir haben auf jeden Fall schon mehr verkauft. Genau. Also da kann ich es nur empfehlen, 40k auf eine andere Art und Weise zu spielen. Als nächstes bemale ich, also ich bin so gerade noch am Hin und Her überlegen. Ich muss die Luminefs hier noch so ein bisschen fertig machen. Da fehlt noch so ein bisschen Bling Bling an dem einen oder anderen. Aber das waren 2 Tage oder sagen wir mal 1,5 Tage, an die ich die durchgeknallt habe. Und das ist echt viel gewesen. Das war nervenaufreibend, dass ich gesagt habe, boah, jetzt brauche ich was anderes. Ich brauche irgendwie, weil die sind alle so mit Mänteln und Cloaks und den ganzen Gedöns, dass ich gesagt habe, ich brauche jetzt mal was Gröberes, wo man Fehler machen darf. Also mit Fehler meine ich aber nicht sich vermalen, sondern wo man einfach mal mehr chaotisch malen darf. Und deswegen bemale ich entweder als nächstes die Osiark Bone Reapers oder die Gloomspite Gits. Bei den Gloomspite ist es allerdings so, ja, das sind 1, 2, 3, 4, 34 Modelle. Und ich plane ja immer so eine Vanguard-Box, oder wie sie jetzt offiziell neu heißen, Spearhead-Box. Und da werdet ihr auch sehen, jetzt, wenn AOS 4 rauskommt, warum die Spearhead-Box heißen. Und warum ich sie auch alle gekauft habe. Dass ich die so an 2 Tagen, maximal 3 Tagen auch durchballer. Das ist für mich dann relativ entspannt. Und ich würde sagen, wir haben noch so eine halbe Stunde. Und ich mache mal hier so ein bisschen das Mikro schon mal rüber. Die Kamera schon mal rüberschwenken. Ist auch momentan gar nicht mehr so aufgeräumt. Hoppala. Oh, mein Trinken vergessen. Hui! Und hui! Ich habe nämlich neue Rollen auf meinem Bürostuhl. So, wie ihr seht, ich nutze die AlpineCup Paletten hoch und runter. Es macht unglaublich viel Spaß, mit denen zu malen. Jetzt auch mal das Mikro ordentlich vor die Fresse halten, damit es auch mal was wird. So. So. Hier habe ich mal so einen von diesen hässlichen... Ach, ist die Kamera auf dem Kopf? Ist ja witzig. Das muss ich so rumhalten für euch, ne? Ja. Spacing-Material ist cool. Spaß gemacht. Es ist unglaublich viel Speedpaints und Contrast da reingeflossen, weil ich das einfach mal auch mal probieren wollte. Ich muss meine Kameras irgendwie wieder auf 60 FPS bringen. Ich weiß nicht wieso. Beide sind auf 60 FPS eingestellt, aber sie machen keine 60 FPS. Es ist so laggy, ne? Weil hier in der Kameravorschau ist alles super smooth, aber auf OBS ist es eben so laggy. Deswegen wackel ich jetzt nicht mehr so viel. Hier habe ich jetzt die Osiak Bone Reapers grundiert und von oben eine Zenithal-Gedönsens. Und werde ganz viel mit Öl arbeiten bei denen. Ich habe mit Marco Frisoni telefoniert und mir so ein bisschen Inspiration noch geholt. Und werde bei dem, also der hat auch ein ziemlich cooles Video, was die hier betrifft, produziert. Das war mir allerdings zu aufwendig, aber ich werde viele Elemente davon benutzen, um ja, mein Skillset auf Öl auszuweiten. Und ich zeige euch einfach mal, was ich damit meine. Hallo Chat, ich bin vor einem Jahr in Deutschland gezogen. Zurzeit bin ich auf Bemalen meiner Armee fast fertig und ich habe vor, zu spielen und anzufangen. Dazu eine Frage: Benutzt Community in der Regel Deutsch oder Englisch? Das ist komisch, ich weiß Englisch fast gar nicht, Deutsch B2. Alles, was meine 40k betrifft, beim Spiel kenne ich alle Begriffe auf Englisch. Die Regeln auf Deutsch sind noch schwierig für mich. Ja, das ist tatsächlich, wie sagt man, es ist, ich glaube, überwiegend ist der Teil, der gesprochen wird, Deutsch, aber die Regeln auf Englisch. Ich muss gerade was holen. Ich habe noch keine Metallpalette. Aber werde jetzt einfach okay. So, mit Öl ist es so, man braucht auch nicht wirklich Mineral Spirit, um mit Öl zu malen. Ich mache mir ein bisschen Rot hier drauf. Und ich habe einfach Windsor Oil Colors, auch für euch auf dem Kopf. Windsor Oil Colors. Mach mir ein bisschen Blau, ein bisschen leuchtenderes Blau. So, dann nehme ich mir einen synthetischen Pinsel und einen synthetischen Pinsel, der eben weggeschmissen werden kann, sage ich mal. So, und ich nehme mir ein bisschen Blau, ich nehme mir ein bisschen Rot und mache daraus eben Lila. Und gehe einfach mit dem Öl dran und schmiere es, wie es würde ich normal malen, beschmiere ich das Modell mit Öl. Achso, ich habe hier gar keine Lampen, Mann. Moment. Wo ist der Schalter? Uah. Und noch eine Lampe. So, dann male ich einfach mit diesem Öl das Modell. Und das Tolle an diesem Öl ist, dass man unglaublich lange damit arbeiten kann. Man sehr, sehr leicht Fehler korrigieren kann. Man smoscht sich das einfach drauf. Dieses Lila. Und je nachdem, wie lange man warten möchte, dass sich dieses Öl eben in die Figur wir nennen es jetzt einfach mal einbrennt. Dafür gibt es keine wirkliche, wie sagt man, ja, Regel. Aber wenn ich jetzt hier mit einen Gradient machen will, dann könnte ich jetzt einfach blau nehmen. Pures Blau. Und würde das jetzt da drunter flatschen. Und um definierter zu arbeiten, würde ich jetzt mir noch einen kleinen Topf mit Mineral Spirit hier vorbereiten, um den Pinsel auch sauber zu machen und solche Sachen. Und noch einen zweiten Pinsel benutzen. Und dieser zweite Pinsel, der ist dann eigentlich nur dafür da. So, ich will das mal irgendwie in die Kamera halten, auf den Kopf drehen. Das ist natürlich ein bisschen ungewohnt. Moment, vielleicht kann ich das gerade mal drehen hier. Rechtsklick. Was war das? Ausrichten. Skalierungsfilter transformieren. Um 180 Grad drehen. Upp. So kann ich auch leichter mit steuern. So. Jetzt haben wir eben dieses Öl auf dem Schild. Ja. Jetzt nehme ich mir einen zweiten Pinsel und der muss komplett trocken sein. Also der muss einfach komplett trocken sein. Und damit gehe ich ganz leicht zwischen den Farben hin und her und verreibe die. Aber nicht mit Gewalt, sondern ganz, 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 ganz leicht. Und der muss immer trocken sein. Einfach ein Stück Zewa haben, das reicht dann schon, um die dann wieder rauszuholen. Den anderen kann ich mit so ganz, ganz, ganz wenig Mineral Spirit arbeiten. Und dann kann ich warten, wie lange ich eben die Farbe einziehen lassen möchte. Und danach kann ich dann rangehen und mir so ein Kosmetik, ja, Schwämmchen, Sticky, was auch immer. Grüß dich, Ray. Hallo, Thomas. Kann ich mir den nehmen und kann dann die Farbe so abstreichen. Und je nachdem entscheidet man halt, wie lange man die Farbe drin haben möchte. Und so intensiver wird dann die Farbe drin sein. Ja? Also das Weiß, das war jetzt vielleicht 1 Minute lang die Farbe drauf. Wenn ich so eine Viertelstunde warte, dann würde alles, was halt hell gehighlightet wurde, wesentlich stärker in diesem Lila sein. Und ich kann halt immer wieder drüber gehen mit den gleichen Steps. Ups. Ich kann jetzt wieder hingehen und meine Rot und meine Blau eben vermischen zu diesem lila Ton und kann wieder stärker hervorgehen und mir diese lila Farbe draufziehen. Sie dann eintrocknen lassen und dann mit meinem trockenen Pinsel, der quasi keine Ölfarbe mehr geladen hat, das wieder verblenden mit den anderen Farben, die ich halt schon drauf habe. Somit kann man auch jegliche Brushstrokes wegmachen und man bekommt so eine Farbstruktur auf das, was man dort malt. Ja, ich könnte mir jetzt so 15 Minuten könnte ich jetzt warten. Also am leichtesten ist es wirklich, wenn man einfach mit 2 Pinseln arbeitet. Der eine zum Auftragen, der andere zum also ein Applicator und einen Verteiler. Und je nachdem, wie lange man dann eben wartet, ich benutze jetzt einfach mal die falschen Begriffe, brennt sich die Farbe rein. Und dann kann ich die, man macht das nicht zu feste, streicht man die Farbe wieder ab. Ne? Und es gibt ja diesen, wie sagt man, ich würde nicht sagen Vorurteil, aber dass zum Beispiel Mineral Spirit oder White Spirit die Farbe wegmacht. Aber das ist nicht so, sondern die Kombination zwischen Reibung und Mineral Spirit entfernt die Farbe. Das heißt, wenn ich mir jetzt hier ich habe leider nur noch den da. Das ist reines Lösungsmittel. Und ein anderes ist leider leer, aber hiermit... Tipp, tipp, tipp. Übermorgen kommt erstmal ein anderes. Und ja, das Zeug stinkt wie Bolle. Das wollte ich... Ich brauche noch Zewa. Wo ist mein Zewa? Und wir rollen wieder weg. Ich will einen Applikator hier hin und kann jetzt mit dem White Spirit eben ganz fein. Bin ich überhaupt in der Kamera? Ne, hier. Mit dem Applikator ganz fein, mit dem White Spirit die gewünschte Farbe wegziehen. Und man sieht auf einmal, wie glatt so ein Übergang wird. Und von meiner eigentlichen Vorgrundierung oder wie auch immer wir es nennen wollen. Ich mache immer die ganzen Figuren weg, damit die Kamera nicht so viel zum Fokussen hat. So. Ich habe jetzt auch keine Ahnung, ob man das gut in der Kamera erkennen kann. Aber man sieht, wie unglaublich glatt die Applikation ist. Wenn ich jetzt meinen Trockenpinsel wieder nehme, wo kein White Spirit dran ist, dann kann ich diesen Gradient wieder noch smoother machen quasi. Es ist einfach wichtig, einen trockenen Pinsel zu haben und einen Auftragpinsel oder eben Löschpinsel. So, wenn der eine Pinsel nicht runterfällt. Und das ist halt etwas, was mir Acrylfarben nicht so erlauben. Ich kann es halt für alle möglichen Steps benutzen. Ich kann einen Edge Highlight erzeugen, indem ich einfach Farbe wegnehme. Ich kann viel fließendere Übergänge machen. Ich kann ein super simples Non-Metallic mit Metal machen. Es ist so einfach mit Öl zu arbeiten und das sind einfach nur 2 Öls. Und ich könnte jetzt einfach das ist der Auftragepinsel, ja. Das Rot nehmen. Nehme ein bisschen Minimal Spirit hinzu, weil das ist mein Farbverdünner. So. Und es ist wie eine normale Farbe. Und ich trage diese rote Farbe auf. Ne? Das ist auf jeden Fall was ich neu lernen will. Oder was ich lernen will. Nicht neu lernen, sondern lernen will und mit in mein Malrepertoire aufnehmen. Weil die meisten Leute, wenn sie sagen, sie arbeiten mit Öl oder malen mit Öl, die machen Folgendes. Die machen einen Oil Wash. Ziehen den drüber, oder Streaking Grime ist so das leichteste Beispiel davon. Die machen Streaking Grime komplett übers Model, nehmen White Spirit oder eben Terpentin, oder gibt 1000 Begriffe dafür, und ziehen das wieder davon ab und sagen, ja, so quasi. Ne? Werden schon wieder neue Farben ausprobiert. Jein, die Farben habe ich schon sehr, sehr lange, aber habe genau das nur bisher damit gemacht, was ich eben gerade beschrieben habe. Und dass es eben nur so zu tun, als würde man mit Öl arbeiten. Aber tatsächlich mit Öl gearbeitet habe ich noch nicht wirklich. Also ich bin da noch weniger als in den Kinderschuhen, würde ich mal behaupten. Und gut ist auch, wenn man sich 2 Mischbecher mit Terpentin halt macht. Einen, um seinen Pinsel vorzureinigen, und den anderen, um nochmal nachzuwaschen. Der zweite sollte immer nicht unbenutzt, sondern klar bleiben. Und das hier benutze ich jetzt nicht nochmal. Was ist los, Emma? Du willst raus, ne? Ja, du kannst gleich ins Wohnzimmer wieder gehen. Oder vielleicht ist die Mama noch wach und hört das und holt dich ab. Ist gut. So, wie gesagt, Demonstration. Ich würde jetzt wesentlich länger länger warten, bevor man zu diesem Schritt kommt. Aber man zieht jetzt nur noch das Rot ab. Und man macht das eben vorsichtig. Um nicht, ne, also... Und umso länger man eben wartet, desto mehr ist das Rot in dieser eigentlichen Stange mit drinne. Und damit bekommt man halt Effekte hin. Also das sieht jetzt schon halt ziemlich cool und düster aus. Und ich könnte halt verschiedene Öle an verschiedenen Positionen bringen. Ich könnte jetzt einfach sozusagen hier ein Blau dran setzen. Und hier ein Blau mit meinem Application-Pinsel. Würde dann zu meinem Trockenpinsel gehen. Ja, ist trocken. Und würde was wegnehmen. Brauche ich gar nicht. Und würde die zwei einfach hier direkt blenden. Ja, die einfachste Form von Farbblending oder was andere Leute dann kennen, so ein Wet Blending, die wir dann haben. Und ich mache das hier gerade nur mit Blau und Rot, wenn man da die Kontraste eben so unglaublich stark sieht zwischen den beiden Farben. Wie als würde man die amerikanische Flagge hier auf diesen Stab gerade bekommen. Das ist halt ziemlich cool. Und es gibt auch so ein paar andere Mythen, wie zum Beispiel das Terpentin nimmt ja eigentlich die ganze Farbe weg. Ich habe jetzt hier ist Terpentin, zack, ist jetzt leicht rötlich wegen Farbreinigung. Das ist eigentlich der Trockenpinsel. Und gehe jetzt hier an mein Modell, aber das nimmt nichts weg. Das Weiß bleibt da. Es wird jetzt gerade hier ein bisschen blau geschadet, weil rot geschadet, weil da drin ist noch blau und rot. Aber mein Overall Zenithal Highlight bleibt komplett da. Das heißt, ich kann pures Mineral Spirit nehmen und über meine Farben ziehen. Damit gehen meine Farben nicht weg. Was ja immer so ein... Ja, es ist ja ein Mythos. Und somit kann ich jetzt dem ganzen Modell so einen Ton geben. Ich sag mal, auf dieser Skalierung, das ist auch mal so eine Frage, die halt kommt, brauchen Ölfarben zum Trocknen. Und das mag jetzt vielleicht nicht nach viel aussehen, aber wir nehmen mal einen komplett unbemalten und halten den einfach mal daneben. Ich hoffe, die Kamera kann das auch aufschnappen, wie unterschiedlich die zwei Modelle eigentlich schon aussehen. Ein ganz anderes Flair rübergeben. Vor allem auf den Schultern. Und Öl eignet sich super für Batcharbeit, also viele Modelle auf einen Schlag. Man kann die ganzen Modelle in einem Schwung durchölen. Also tatsächlich dieses Rot nehmen und alle Waffen rot. Und wenn man beim letzten angefangen hat, kann man anfangen, beim ersten es wieder runterzunehmen, um diesen gestainten Effekt eben zu haben. Und das macht gerade unglaublich viel Spaß, mich mit dieser Materie auseinanderzusetzen. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob ich das auf den Oseax ausprobieren werde, weil tatsächlich rennt mir so ein bisschen die Zeit davon an Armeen, die noch bemalt werden müssen, bis ich alle 22 bemalt habe. Interessant wäre es auf jeden Fall. Vielleicht wird es auch einfach mal ein, zwei oder so eine Warband. Vielleicht kaufe ich mir eine Warband und male die komplett mit Oil. à la Marco. Weil ich finde es tatsächlich, wie er gesagt hat, es ist unglaublich leicht. Man muss es einfach nur mal... Klar, man braucht wieder ein paar verschiedene Materialien, aber man kann sich halt eben die meisten Farben auch einfach zusammenmischen. Achso, und Öl färbt unglaublich viel. Also Vorsicht. So, ich könnte diese Gelb nehmen und einfach mit dieser Gelb hier überall auf diese, wo ich sage, ja, da will ich Knochen haben. Da will ich Knochen haben. Auf den oberen Rand vom Schild will ich Knochen haben. Verschiedene Blodges. Keine einheitliche Struktur. Das ist ja alles Rüstung. Das soll alles Rüstung bleiben. Und dann gehe ich mit meinem Trockenpinsel ran. Und fange an, das ganze Modell damit durchzutackern. Und es gibt mir so einen gelblichen... Ich könnte jetzt noch eine Braun nehmen, eine andere Gelb nehmen, eine andere Gelbbraun nehmen und verschiedene Punkte überall verschieden ansetzen. Und würde verschieden deckende Knochen eben bekommen. Das ist wahrscheinlich auch ein sehr gutes Beispiel. Einfach jetzt nochmal das Burnt Sienna zu nehmen. Vor allem lassen sich die Öle halt auch total gut kombinieren. Gehe eben jetzt mit dem Burnt Sienna nochmal hier in die Mitten rein. Und einfach den Pinsel so ein bisschen frei wandern lassen, wo man verschiedene Stellen eben haben möchte. Und man kann zwischen den Farben total cool wechseln. Sie mischen sich alleine auf der auf der Figur eben. Und ich habe so überall meine Splodgies. So werden sie jetzt genannt. Und dann nehme ich wieder ein bisschen mehr Gelb, weil ich das Gefühl habe, hier müsste ein bisschen mehr Gelb hin. Dann wieder ein bisschen mehr Braun und so weiter und so fort. Am Anfang glaubt man vielleicht, dass es viel Zeit in Anspruch nimmt, aber wenn man so drüber nachdenkt, eine Figur zu bemalen, mehreren Layers, und dann hat man tatsächlich nur eine Farbe, eine glatte Farbe drauf. Und danach will man einen Wash drüber ziehen und danach will man Edge highlighten. Geht wesentlich mehr Zeit in Anspruch. So, das war jetzt mein Applikationspinsel. Jetzt kommt mein Trockenpinsel und eigentlich bräuchte ich einen anderen dafür. Ich bräuchte eigentlich den dafür, der ist besser. Oh, das kann ich nicht lesen. Vielen Dank, Alexander, für die Subscription. Vielen, vielen Dank. War nur am Baserand, nur am Baserand. Ja, wir haben das Gesicht komplett vergessen. Zack. Und das ist halt alleine jetzt schon weil es eben mit diesem Trocknungspinsel so easy verteilt ist, wird es automatisch matt. Das zum einen. Ich bin ein Fan von matt. Ich muss hier mal mit meiner Malstation sollte ich auch vorher mal vorbereiten. Ich wusste auch nicht, dass ich heute nochmal irgendwie Lust bekomme, euch mit Öl-Highlights hier zu versorgen. Ah, das war jetzt klassischer Anfängerfehler. So. Und jetzt kommt noch eine ziemlich coole Sache. Bin ich schon reingezoomt? Ja, ne? Okay. Eine ziemlich coole Sache, die weißes Öl macht. Einfach flat out weißes Öl. Und jetzt kann ich Folgendes machen. So. Oben auf diesen Spitzen, diesen Schildspitzen, kann ich mir einzelne weiße Punkte setzen. Und überall, wo ich sage, hier müsste es vielleicht heller sein, kann ich mir überall so kleine weiße Punkte hinsetzen. Da noch. Ja, vielleicht auch im Gesicht, am Kinn. Vielleicht hier auf dem Handgelenk. Das ist auch sowas, das lässt dir Acrylfarben lassen das niemals zu. Kannst du vergessen. Du nimmst einfach dieses reine Weiß an Öl, machst dir die Punkte. Das war vielleicht ein bisschen viel. Ich bin noch gerade irgendwie nicht so konzentriert. Und habe jetzt überall meine, hier auf diese Endstücke. Zack. Zack. Und das ist wirklich Highlighten für Arme. Das ist so cool. Ich gehe, vielleicht ist er ein bisschen groß. Ja, gebe ich zu. Der ist auch synthetisch, glaube ich. Wenn nicht, dann wird er jetzt sterben. Aber ist auch egal. Ein neuer Trockenpinsel. Es muss trocken sein. Und gehe dann hin und mache das ganz weich, weil Öl die Eigenschaft hat, sich mit jedem anderen Öl zu vermischen. Ja. Und deswegen ist einfach die Farbe, die dort liegt, automatisch highlightet. Das heißt, das Weiß bleibt nicht weiß, sondern vermischt sich mit der Farbe, die halt dort liegt. Man ist natürlich ganz vorsichtig mit diesem Verteilen. Ne? Auf einmal highlighte ich mein ganzes Modell. Und überall, wo ich dieses Weiß jetzt gedottet habe, kriege ich richtige Knochenfarbe raus. Ich kann damit wahrscheinlich noch wesentlich extremer und nicht so vorsichtig rangehen. Aber es sieht fantastisch aus, was ich mit Acryl und Pinselfarben so in meinen Augen nicht hinkriegen würde. Und vor allem, wenn ich Öl habe, ich brauche ja nicht viele Farben, um mir alles anzumischen. Ein paar Farben reichen mir da aus. Und wenn ich sage, ja, es hat noch nicht ganz gereicht, dann gehe ich mit meiner Weiß wieder dahin. Zack, zack. Setze mir meine Punkte eben wieder drauf. Und wir können es dann mal... Ist ja eh ein Testmodell. Wir können da jetzt mal ein bisschen übertreiben mit dem Weiß. So. Nehmen wir uns unseren Trockenpinsel und fangen wieder an zu mischen. Und ich kriege auf einmal Farbspektren auf Stellen. Ich kann wieder Contrast machen. Und so weiter und so fort. Also vor allem hier auf diesem Schild. Das ist extrem cool, was mit diesem Weiß passiert. Und dieses, auf Englisch heißt es Gradient. Den man einfach mit normalen Pinsel oder selbst mit Airbrushen auf diesem Niveau einfach nicht hinkriege. Oder ich auf gar keinen Fall hinkriege. Und so kann ich mir meine eigene Rezeptur, die Skelette. Ich werde leider geblendet von dem Scheinwerfer. Ich sehe den eigenen Stream nicht. Ich weiß nicht, ob man das überhaupt gut sehen kann oder nicht. Und so kann man seine Osiak Bone Reaper bemalen. Mit unglaublich wenig Aufwand. Damit diese Farben komplett trocken sind, sag ich mal, auf dieser Skalierung braucht es 1 bis 2 Tage. Es gibt Applikationen und Tricks, wie man das Ganze verschnellern kann. Es gibt auch Leute, die sagen, ja, du musst jetzt eigentlich nur noch durchföhnen. Ja, mit dem Föhnen verschnellere ich das Trocknen des Mineral Spirits, wenn ich es damit vermischt habe, was ich ja nicht muss. Ja? Ich muss es nicht. Aber was jetzt Mineral Spirit zum Beispiel machen würde, und das können wir ja auch gerne mal machen, abgesehen davon, dass ich jetzt weiter Washes kreieren kann damit. Jetzt zum Beispiel, einen bläulichen Wash erzeugen, um hier in dieser Schildkurve einzugehen. Dieses sogenannte Panel Lining, wofür Leute irgendwie echt richtig lange für brauchen. Oder ich gehe eben hin und nehme mir wieder etwas weg. Ne? Und durch dieses Wegnehmen an den bestimmten Stellen kann ich eben mir wieder Schatten machen. Ja, also man hat unglaublich viele Applikationen dafür. Man kann, und selbst auf einem fertigen, bemalten Modell. Wir nehmen jetzt mal irgend so ein Modell. Ich sag mal, hier habe ich im Stream, glaube ich, mal eine Gelb gezeigt, wie die funktionieren. Das ist jetzt eine normale Figur, die ihr bemalt habt. Und ihr habt einfach mal gelb bemalt. Dann nehmt ihr so nehmen wir mal blau. Einen blauen Tropfen. Ganz klein. Also ich habe hier schon einen 00 Pinsel in der Hand. Den setze ich hier drauf. Genau in die Mitte. Da ist jetzt ein blauer Blob. Ja? Jetzt gehe ich an meinen Zerreibepinsel. Ja, wir erinnern uns, der muss einfach nur dunkel sein. Trocken sein. Und verreibe das jetzt. Umso länger und umso smoother ich das quasi mache, desto mehr Gradient bekomme ich dahin. Und jetzt habe ich einen unglaublich starken Schatten auf meine Gelb gesetzt. Ich kann auch viel mehr wegnehmen. Und es wird immer sanfter und also Öl ist schon was Tolles. So. Man kann aber auch ganz normal wieder mit Acrylfarben, um das mal zu zeigen. Wir nehmen jetzt hier keine Ahnung, was für eine gute Farbe? Hier eine Rot. Ich nehme jetzt einfach irgendeine Rot. Legendary Red. Zack. Gehe da mit einem normalen Pinsel wieder an die Sache ran. Kann ich ganz normal drüber malen. Ja? Das Öl macht mir überhaupt nichts kaputt. Es braucht quasi nur länger, um komplett durchzutrocknen. Ich kann da ganz normal mit meinen Acrylfarben drüber malen. Jetzt kann ich natürlich probieren, hier mit meinem trocken Ölpinsel das zu verreiben. Ja, wie ihr seht, der Effekt ist nicht mal nicht mal ansatzweise und jetzt kann ich den Pinsel auch nicht mehr benutzen, weil Acryl trocken bleibt im Pinsel, Öl eben nicht. Und jetzt sieht es einfach nur schmutsch aus. Aber ich kann eben damit arbeiten. Oder nimm mein Team und wische alles wieder ab. Tschu. Und dann komme ich wieder zu dem Gelb, womit ich eben angefangen habe. Und das Gelb, also das Terpentin, hat mein Gelb überhaupt nicht angefasst. So. So langsam bin ich müde. Ich hoffe, ihr verzeiht. Nächste Woche machen wir wieder richtig proper, wie sagt man, Painting Stream. Ich nehme jetzt noch hier so ein paar Minütchen mit euch. Kamera. Hello. Um mit euch kurz zu chillen. So. Nicey. Ja, ich hoffe, euch geht's gut da draußen. Mir hat's echt Spaß gemacht mit den beiden Gästen. Ich wünsche euch auf jeden Fall noch einen schönen Abend. Wenn noch nicht geschehen, schaut auf jeden Fall mal vorbei in die neuesten Battle Reports und unsere Codex-Reviews zu Orks und Custodes. Lese ich hier nochmal, was habe ich hier verpasst? Hier steht gerade ein 90% fertiger Magnus vor mir. Ich weiß ganz genau, dass ich mit den restlichen 10% niemals zufrieden sein werde. Okay, dann vielleicht mal stehen lassen. An Waschtor sitze ich auch schon 6 Monate. Ich liebe das Modell. Ich kann nur in-game sehr wenig. Ja, es kann echt unglaublich wenig in-game. So. Ich wünsche euch noch einen wunderschönen Abend. Wir sehen uns nächste Woche. Haut rein und seid vernünftig.